Hi and welcome to episode 9 of Every Semicolon. Today I'm going to do probably do some stuff with blocks. I've got some of the artwork from Shane, his first batch of stuff he's put out on some stone blocks. I'm going to get that in and just figure out how that all goes together, and then yeah, maybe put together a little new fortress, one that's maybe a bit better for a test level. So for starters, let's delete. Well, we have a oh, we do, don't we? Utils game object, delete child objects. That's a good start. Not really keen on fixing random issues from previous things. Okay, so delete child objects. Right. Root selection, blah blah. Destroy immediate child objects, blah blah. Okay. So what's our shortcut for that? Shift Alt Delete. Nope. Right, delete is not a shortcut button I've figured out yet, if it's even possible. Okay. Empty area there for our new fortress, so let's create a new folder on here called Stones. Well, we'll make a blocks folder. Now I've had a quick look at these blocks. Stone corner. Okay. So here's the FPX files. And actually, where am I storing the materials? In there, and I'm putting the textures straight in with the FPXs, right? Okay. Oh, already off to a poor start. Jump back into Unity, let it recompile with these changes. Okay. Grab all that, jump back out to the textures and grab a couple of textures there, drop them in, and we'll do the same with stone corner. Just keeping all the textures and models together just for just to make it. Oh, let's adjust my microphone here. Just to make it yeah, more easier to maintain, having everything in one spot. Okay. The reason I did it in Windows Explorer rather than dragging those into Unity directly was basically that they were in different folders, and yeah, I could have done the textures first and then the FPXs afterwards, but this way I just made it easier. I just drag them all in, let it figure its stuff out, and it found the textures and applied them to the materials. So alright, let's just put these colors up to white. I still often use earlier versions of Unity, and I'm still not used to modifying multiple things at once, so whenever I remember that I can do it, it's always awesome. Okay, so we'll just make all these one, get rid of the animation importing. Yeah, getting rid of animation importing is a good thing to do if you don't have animations, because you don't end up with an animation component on your FPX like these stone corner ones will have. This animation component with no clips in there, it's just a waste. So select the FPXs in this folder and Do the same with them. Scale at 1. No animation importing. Alright. So Shane's got this stone layout image here showing how the stone's meant to be laid out. So basically they're all sort of different shapes, so there's obviously these 16 different stone types here, and this one looks fairly cubish. You can see that it does have some angled bits, and I'm dropping another one here. Basically the idea is that this one here is 3B, so 3B to the left of it will be 3A, which will slot in nicely next to it. Might actually be on this side, and that might be the front there, so it might be 3C that goes in there. Yeah, it looks like that'll be the case. Alright, so what we're going to do is start making our prefabs for these blocks. So let's have a look at our existing block prefabs. So I have a block stone here, this sort of shape. So the stones we got here are all sort of fairly cube-like. So not everything's going to be like that in the game, but you're going to have, probably wooden planks and stuff similar to this sort of prefab. But this will work well for constructing a wall that's not too wide but has a fair few different pieces in it, and can get a bit of height. So you can see here, we're going to end up with it allows us to get a fair bit of a fair few blocks in for the amount of height we'll have. So this is all still up in the air. It can change, but I'm kind of liking how this works at the moment. So let's drop in the block stone and start messing with it. Maybe we'll make a folder in here because we've obviously got a lot of different prefabs. Call this one stone. Move the prefab to there. Okay, block stone. We'll call it block stone A. Alright, block stone 1A. And come in here. I'm gonna grab. Now we've got these different game objects for the healthy and damaged. Only got one type of block at the moment, so not sure how the damaged ones are going to look. Probably just fractured different meshes and that sort of thing. I was actually thinking about possibly doing dynamic fracturing, similar to sort of how NVIDIA's Apex system works, something like that. And I do have an idea of how to do that. I know I have done sort of cutting of stuff before, using slice sort of planes. And actually, if you look at something like the Unity boot camp demo from the release of Unity 3, there's a decal system in that, which uses a fairly common method for doing decals. And I'll probably throw that into this project at some point for decals. Where the decal is basically a section of the mesh that it's on reproduced. So say if I put a decal on here, it would cut new polygons out of the existing polygons of this mesh, and it would just have that section cut off separately. And you do the same sort of thing when you're cutting up something for fracturing. So if I had it was a game where you're slicing a sword through this block, it's basically the same sort of thing. You have a plane there that you then go through and test all the vertices against to find out where they are relative to the plane, and you can basically create new polygons based on the old existing ones from the mesh, shift the verts around to match the plane position, and you end up with a duplicate section of a mesh, and then capping that based on I guess the plane that's cut it. Anyway, you eventually you do that a bunch of times to fracture something up. I'm not going to do that though, for a number of reasons. For one, I think it's going to take a while, and I don't really think it's worth doing because I don't know what platforms this is going to be on at this stage. If it's going to be iPhone, that sort of dynamic fracturing probably be a bit too slow. It might take, I don't, off the top of my head, 30 milliseconds or something like that to calculate, which is, I don't really want that sort of lag when there's a bunch of things being hit by a big boulder. So you can pre-calculate the fracture, and that might be okay, but then you're going to have the same sort of fracture each time, so you have to pre-calculate a whole bunch of random fractures. Anyway, not important. So probably just going to have breaks into particles or whatever, but we'll figure that out later. For now, I'll probably just do various material types for this. So back to our prefab. Let's go to the healthy one, and let's just delete all those. I'm going to drop in stone 1A. Now, I think these are how big are they? Okay, so it looks like I think they're around 2.5 or 5. 2.5 must be. So they're approximately 2.5 meters. Which is fairly straightforward. Okay. Alright. So we'll just go with that for now. We'll just go with this 2.5 measurement. So we go 1.25 up. We'll call this one stone healthy. Stone damaged. Stone near death. Alright. So it's stone diff. Might just make a couple of variations of this for now. Grab all these, we'll change the shader to the spec map shader we've made. Drop on spec map. Okay, so diff 2 will make that just a bit darker for now. And diff 3 darker again. Righto. So damage can use diff 2, and near death diff 3. Alright, so that I need to set these healthy, damaged, near death. Right. Next is these all need. There's no. Yeah. These all need collision. So we'll add collision to them all at the same time. Mesh collider. We want this to be convex. Yep, and that's it. And each of those, oh, they're all the same mesh, that's cool. Alright. Very good. So that is block stone 1A. Apply that, save project, delete. So I have to do that 15 more times. It doesn't really appeal to me. But I don't think I've got a quick way. I mean, I could write something, but I think this is the thing. Yeah, sometimes I enjoy writing a window or something to do this sort of thing for me. But it's often not smart. If you're just trying to get through something, you got to think about whether or not you'll be doing this stuff multiple times, and chances are I will be, with different block types. But right now, I'm more interested in just getting this stuff in. So we'll see what we can do without making a window to do this for us. I go like that, and like that. Apply that. That's B. Yeah, this is fairly quick. So what I'm doing here is selecting my 3 block meshes in the prefab, and I'm swapping out the mesh, which ends up being the only thing that's actually different between the different blocks. Swapping it out for the other meshes. So for example, I copied 1A and I swapped out the 1A mesh in both the renderer and the mesh collider for 1B, and on all 3 meshes at the same time, and then that's basically it. That was all that was required. So now I'm just making my 16 different prefabs. Now I could do this a different way as well. I could, instead of having a different prefab for each one of these, have the one prefab that allows me to select which one of the block meshes to use, and that might be something I'll look at doing later on if there's any issue with this approach. But at the moment, I don't see a problem. If you don't know if you know this, random viewer, listener, which I appreciate your listenership, if that's a word, but holding down the Alt key and clicking on one of these arrows will fully expand or fully collapse any subsequent children objects in the hierarchy, and that will work in any sort of window in Unity that uses these hierarchy standard hierarchy sort of displays. So I'm expanding all of these for quick access to the mesh data, and I can do the same with this. So 2A, let's grab 2A, 2A, 2B, I was going to make a Shakespeare based joke when referring to the 2B block, but I didn't. So there's my 2 blocks, halfway there. Alright, 3s and 4s and 1 big hit. Okay. I'm starting to wonder about at what point do I mean, a lot of people have mentioned with these videos that they, watching me plug away for hours at end on random stuff isn't exactly their cup of tea, and that's probably the case for most people. They're not interested in watching this entire process, but they expressed an interest in checking out snippets here and there, I guess, of some stuff. Seeing, I guess, the major plot points in my Every Semicolon movie. So I've just been thinking about sort of when maybe that would occur, when I would do some, I guess, maybe I could do some videos that are like the first 20 hours or something like that, and just have a 30-minute video showing off, I guess, the main things that were done in the first 30 hours, so people can see if there's anything in there that's interesting, and maybe that's something I'll do. Also, I guess, as the game progresses and I start doing more marketing sort of videos, I'll obviously reference the video series, and I'm not really pushing it that hard at the moment. I don't. I'd love if anyone's into it and they, are in any communities that might be interested in this sort of thing, or know anyone that might be interested. Then it'd be great if they could spread the word. So this is forward. But yeah, I mean, until it's sort of, I'd rather just see it get popular through word of mouth at the moment. I'm not really interested in trying to push this thing, which I'm not really gonna go too crazy on production values, and I want to just be able to sort of do my own thing with this series, and not have to worry about too many people getting at me for doing something stupid or something boring. But I think it's a good. Someone on the Unity forum just recently said that this is some invaluable resource or something like that, and that's sort of I don't want to be toot my horn too much, but that's sort of what I'm going for here. I don't think this is something that's very common, and I think just seeing the development process, a lot of people are interested in developing games and the development process of games, and this is only one certain type of game, one certain type of process, but I think people could get something out of this. Alright, so what do we got here? Whole bunch of, nope, one error. Oh yeah, so I've really got to remember to, maybe I can just no, either way, chuck these into my fortress. Alright, so when constructing these things, they're 2.5 meters across, but I think I'm going to have an issue with physics. So let's say I grab, well, let's just finish this row here. Do I have, what utilities have I got? Space measure, prefab, instantiate. I really need something to, I mean, I've made this like duplicate, shift alt, so left. Yeah, I made this sort of utility, which is cool, but what I really need is maybe one that can look at the name and grab the next one in the series. That might be something. That might be something pretty cool. Alright, so what do we got here? Whole bunch of, nope, one error. Alright, so what do we got here? Whole bunch of, worth investigating. So let me check what happens if I put this at 0. Here's my Shift Alt. 2.61. So that's actually not too bad. Bit of a gap. So I don't want them to be flush, because flush will mean that the physics will potentially, based on some sort of skin width sort of value, they're going to be touching too much and they're going to push each other out at the start. And if you have a whole big wall made of things that are slightly intersecting, then it's all going to flip out and fall down. We don't want that, so a bit of spacing is probably the go. It just depends on how much spacing I want to do. Alright. Cool. Let's make that in the series thing I was mentioning. That seems like something I'm going to need pretty much straight away. So utils objects. Okay. So the duplicate ones. Alright. Duplicate object method. So here we go. So if it's a prefab, let's have a look at the name. Get prefab parent. Alright, so you get this whole thing here. Prefab ob. Let's grab the prefab object. Okay, and we'll find out string new prefab name equals get next prefab in series. Just run down here and make a little method for that. Okay, so what this is going to do is we're going to have some sort of logic in here to determine whether or not it's got I guess a suffix that is in this sort of format, and if it does, then we'll find the next one in the series, and if there's no next one, or if it's not that sort of format, it will return the same one, or I guess if there's yeah, so if it's 1D and there's no 1E and there's a 1A, then we'll return 1A. So let's figure out how to do that. Yeah, okay. What is... yeah. I need sort of a... let's just write it here for now. Array. Ordered alphas. Alright, this is gonna be fun. What if there's probably use a much smarter way of doing this, but here I am. It's the handheld class D. No. You know what? Let's just stop at M, and I'll stop at M because I know how many characters M is into the alphabet, so I can go back here and change it to 13. Alright, that'll do for now. So what we're going to do is get second last. Okay, so if prefab name dot length is less than 2, return prefab name. So we just want to make sure it's got at least 2 characters in it. So character second last equals prefab name dot length minus 2, and second last char, get the last character. Okay. So what we'll do is if int dot trypass second last char that's cool. Let's see if it doesn't pass. I'm showing that. Alright, so basically there I'm grabbing the second last character, which is going to be hopefully a number, and I'm going to run int.trypass on it, and if it fails to pass it to an int, then we'll return the original string and just exit out of this function because it's not going to work. I think that'll work. If not, whatever. Okay, so that's cool, and then we're going to test the last character. So so loop through all these ordered alphas. Found it. Okay, so we find it. Replace with if I is equal to ordered alphas at length minus 1, so if it's the last one in the list, then replace with will equal ordered alphas 0, else replace with will equal ordered alphas I plus 1. Okay, so basically what I'm saying there is I don't actually need that. So what I'm doing is if I find it in this, I'll run through this, and if the last character is one of these, then get the next one in the list, or if it's the last one, in this case M, then get A. I do know that it is A, but this is better because theoretically I could add something else as the first one in the future if I wanted to. So now I'm going to return prefab name dot substring from 0 to prefab name dot length minus 1. Yes, plus last char. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm stripping off whatever the last character was, and I'm returning the string without the last character plus our new last character, which is actually meant to be replaced with. So if it doesn't find it, it'll never enter this if statement, and replace with will just equal what was the last character, otherwise it will be equal to one of these. Cool. So that's theoretically just going to work, but hey, you've seen these videos, you know as well as I do that it's not going to work. Okay, so new prefab name is that. Initiate prefab, blah blah. So what I'm going to do now is try to if prefab ob dot name is not equal to new prefab name. Prefab ob equals prefab utility dot. Alright, now I gotta figure out what I'm doing. Resources dot load is probably gonna be what I want. Which probably means instead of doing prefab ob dot name, I want something like resources dot or asset database dot get asset path maybe. Let's just double check some of that stuff. Alright, so asset database, get asset path. Right, so you give it an object, it returns blah, so it's going to have .prefab at the end, probably. So we'll strip that off. And resources dot load will not have the prefab at the end either. Okay. Dot place dot prefab with nothing. Wow, none of that's gonna work, is it? I might need to cast this to game object. See what happens. Do-do-do. Nope. Can't convert char to string, that's strange. String to char. Char to string. First one. Oh. New instance of the system string class to the value indicated by a specified Unicode character repeated a specified number of times. Don't want. Man, this is a lot of fun. Okay. So if we drop in this dude and go that. Okay, so 3 goes to nothing, so it's meant to be 1. I don't really use the this string class much before, so I'm not really too well versed on how it's used. Three. Okay, so that's cool. Alright, so it made it to possibly this far. Let's have a read of this. And on the plus side, it is actually instantiating whatever the object is, so unless I haven't actually slotted in what I want to slot in, I haven't. Fantastic. Let's see what's up. Cool. So let's log what we're getting here. Okay. So grab that. I shall just log out in this method here. Should help. And that. Okay. So assets, resources, game, blah blah. Okay, I think I just need to strip off assets. Looks like it's working though, otherwise. Okay, resources, game, prefabs, blocks, throw them up. That's all good. Comes out. Not working. Okay. Essentially prefab, say. Dot. New prefab name. Log. So this, I guess, is theoretically what is null. Gotta stop saying theoretically. Alright. Yep, logs out that prefab name, which is cool. Resources. Resources needs to be gone too, right? Yeah. Okay. Too easy. Doesn't like to do the wrap. So there's 1 through D, and then the next one fails, which is E. Ah, of course. I'm actually checking to see if it exists. So what is that going to be? I could try resources load, and if it returns null, I guess is the way to do it. Or asset database. Exist. Get asset path. Load asset at path. Let's try. I'll leave it in there for a sec. Okay, so we get this new name. Blah blah blah. Okay, and what we're going to do is if resources dot load new name is equal to this thing. Equal to null, then new name is equal to that, and I guess we can assume that. And if that fails, then it just means I need to fix up whatever I've got wrong in my assets. Okay. Awesome, so now we've got my fully, let's forward one's up? That one. Right. And down, right. Forward, up. Alright. That's all well and good. I could handle, I guess, the next thing, which would be the up. I'm gonna have to do it. These are all called 1A. Gotta do something about that too. Okay, so series alpha increase alpha will increase number. So the default one, I don't need the default one, just write it. So yeah, I've got temp int, so that's cool. So increase number, temp int plus plus, and put this back to I'm going to have some sort of limit on the number. I'll wrap the number around back to 1. Okay. Can't find that. Then I can assume that that there. Alright. Okay, so temp int make second last character let's go to prefab name dot length -2 equals temp int dot toString, and if increase alpha, just do all that stuff. Righto. In here as well, we'll increase same order. Okay. And let's return it to that. So by default, we'll just do increase alpha and don't increase the number. Or better yet, by default we'll do neither. And if increase alpha or increase number, do all this stuff. Otherwise, don't. Yep. And do this thing. Okay, cool. So now we go to where we call duplicate object. So to the left, we want to do the alpha and don't want to do the number. Duplicate left, so duplicate right will be the same. Behind will be neither. Same with front. I put those in the right spot. Yeah. So below. Fortunately, I now need to. I just realised take into account whether I'm increasing or decreasing the number. Alright, let's. So I'll just do it as an int. Plus equals increase alpha. An increase number. It's increase number. Increase alpha. I think it's not equal to 0. Increase alpha. I'm just going to support 1 and -1. Nothing more than that. So if it's 0, replace it with forward alpha is at length -1. Otherwise, I -1. Cool. And head back to our this thing. So an int. To be 0, 0. And alright, so where I have true, I'm going to make it 1. Where I have false, I'm going to make it, well, left. So left is going to be -1. Right is going to be 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, -1, and 0, 1. Alright, so basically if I go down, I want to decrease the alpha character. If I go up, I want to increase it. Same, and left and right, same with the numbers. It's equal to, it's not equal to 0. It's not equal to 0. If increased number is not equal to 0. I don't need that either. Read only property. Okay, fair enough. Prefab name is equal to prefab name substring length -2. Temp int 2 string last character. Alright. So forward should still be 1A. Let's quickly last thing, hopefully. Jump in here. What do we set the name of this thing? Gob name. Okay. String. Place last 2 characters. Equals gob.name. Gob.name. Length. So starting from was 2. Going to gob.length. Name.length. And no, 2. If gob.name length is greater than 2, okay, not equal nothing. Do that afterwards. Gob name equals dot substring from 0 to new name dot length minus 2 plus replace. Okay. Oh, and I never set them. Alright, did any of that work? Ugh, I lost out on something. /B. Yep, that ain't working. So, new prefab name dot substring. So, that's this. This. Looks like my directions might be around the wrong way. On the left and right. Otherwise, I think it's done. Alright, let's check it out. Excitement. Chuck that there, chuck that under there. Okay. So. It's 1A again. Oh no! This isn't the stuff of nightmares. This is literally the stuff of nightmares. It's all good, that direction, but going the other way, no. Okay. Almost there. So this is the sort of video I'd imagine people will probably skip through a lot of it, unless you are, if you're a programmer, or, if you're interested in this sort of stuff, you might be. This might actually be of interest, perhaps, or it could just be frustrating, potentially. Okay, anyway, where am I at? Basically, it's alpha character. So if it's 0, place with ordered alphas, ordered alphas, blah, blah, blah. If I equals 0, which is what it is, right? 0. So replace with becomes m's not a thing, you fool. I want to maybe try it in here. I also should break out at this point. Okay. So in this case I'm doing this one. Place with equals that. Yep, so just name equals okay, so while it can't find that resource, or perhaps magical do while. Place with equals that. Test name equals that. Get rid of that. Okay. And we'll just get that going for now. There's A, and I'm hitting that one. Am I? Oh, I've broken it. I've broken it. Infinite loop. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your help. Okay, so shut down Unity from the task manager, and now we're back in. So that's a frustrating thing that can happen when dealing with, well, it's typically with loops. So in this case, what happened was I never increased this this number. So let's int test num equals 1. Plus. Let's try it again. 1D, that direction, that direction. Okay, now we have our super wall ready to go. Okay, so we'll start with one here, and we'll just start building. Should do. Wicked. So let's see how that sits. Need to do that. Yeah, I've definitely got to remove that or find another way of doing that. Alright, let's whip around to this guy. Really need to pre-populate that trajectory list. That looks like it'll be fine. Wow. Huh. Is that... If you remember back to last episode, yeah, last episode I changed how I was setting the velocity of the instantiated bullet. I mustn't have tested anything except the one that's pointing down positive Z, which is weapon, okay, catapult 1. So where's that? Shoot. I set the velocity here. This transform dot forward. Weapon, this transform dot forward. So this guy. Now his forward is, if you get that, that should be in world space, which I believe is how the Leo needs to transform. Got transform direction. Or is it? Sometimes I just inverse transform direction. Should be fine. World. Transform direction. Quaternion. Transit Quaternion. Oops. Alright. Okay, so just I use the weapon transforms right vector, which is the positive x-axis vector for that transform, and I multiplied that by the angle instead of using the world space angle like it was before. So this way, that x-axis quaternion, basically this x-axis angle here, which I'm rotating my transforms forward around, say. So what that is basically, this is the forward sort of vector here, this blue one you can see for that weapon, and what I was doing was rotating it around the x-axis an amount to point in the direction I shoot the weapon, or the bullet. So this angle here, basically, from that being 0, that there is the angle, which was 25 degrees. So I rotate that up 25 degrees using a quaternion multiplied by the vector. Right. Let's try that again. Look back around to this guy. Come down here. Sure. Bang. That's cool. That actually works quite well. The weight, the cumulative sort of weight of all those blocks sitting on top of each other, if you hit the bottom one, it ends up not doing a whole lot of damage to the wall. Just wait a few moments for that line to catch up to where you want it to be. Penetrating halfway. Bam. See, that's cool. That works really well. See, that's good too, because we now can see some destruction there on those. I'll just change direction, give another shot. Does this direction work anymore? Of course not. Alright, so what I'll need to do now is, and I think I was actually going to do this, and that's probably why I wrote it, yeah, so the weapons forward direction is not the same as graphics. So what I've got to do instead is use the forward direction of the graphics in my shooting. This transform, nope, I want graphics transform. So now when I rotate this way, shoot, away it goes. And you can see my, wow, it's really annoying. This thing's still going in the same direction. All my lovely trajectory indicators. Should probably parent those or something rather than just having them in the scene view clogging it up, but not a huge deal. So my projectile trajectory, which is this fella, it's all using get position, weapon transform forward. So my weapon transform, actually I want that to be, and where am I using that exactly? Just there. What I actually want is weapon.graphics transform, which means I don't really need to cache that anymore, which also means I can get rid of all this. Now when I play it, do that, you can see the trajectory lines. Is that? Yeah. So it seems like in the game view, yeah, camera's offset slightly to the right. Alright, so we start to have some blocks here. Let's throw in one of our chests in the center, and let's just simply grab these blocks, duplicate them, put them over here. I might rotate around the Y 180 there. I'm not too worried about things lining up perfectly. I don't think that's really the point in this game. I don't really need it to be symmetrical. Let's make it a long section here, duplicate those, rotate around the Y, is that? Yep. And put that there. We'll drop into this view. Ooh, let's save it for a sec, and let's see what happens if I do this. Control Shift Alt A. What do we end up with then? That's a B, that's a C, that's an A. the overall positioning of them seems to be based on the overall bounds, which is what I made it do when I wrote that stuff. It's not really what I want in this case, but it's okay. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Cool. I call this the clicking lots of objects game. It's like a super fun game that Unity built into the editor. Alright. So, next thing, we'll go back to our artwork and have a look at these other objects we have. So, stone corner. So, I think the idea with these is you can sort of slot them up on top of each other here. Put a little roof on. And you got like a little tower on the side. So let's make prefabs for each of those. So it's going to be stone corner. We'll call this stone corner 1A. For each of these, we will. So I don't need to say how big is stone corner. Let's figure that out first. Two. Alright, so it doesn't have an actual height. That's fine. You can figure it out by adding a mesh collider. That sort of thing. Well, this is sort of an odd way of figuring it out, but add a rigid body to it, let it fall. 1.84. So let's say 1.85. It's pretty much right. 1.86, 7, 8. Ah, it is off the ground at that point. So 1.5, 6, 7. I think that's pretty flush. 1.87 it is. Stone corner 8, stone corner 8, and 1.87. Too easy. Reset the position, apply that. That's stone corner 1A. Stone corner 3A, 2A. Now I'm using the same convention to name these blocks here, so that I can use all that code I just spent a stupid amount of time writing to build the towers above each other. So B in top, so 2 is going to be B. And 3 will be top. And roof will make it a separate type, so I could build bigger towers if I wanted to. Stone corner roof. Let's drop chest into there. Okay, now roof bit. Roof. Roof. I need to change the materials on these. Right, now to figure out the height. Well, the roof is actually 0, so that's fine. You all need the roof diffuse. These. Spec map. It's going to be a darker roof and our slightly darker roof. Apply that, and we're done with that guy. Actually, no. Yeah, no. That didn't look right. No, that's right. And you can see, so with this one, we're going to get a little bit of difference between the collision mesh and the geometry mesh, because the geometry is concave and our collision is convex. But that's cool. That's not an issue at all. You won't even notice that in the game, and obviously, unless it's on an edge where it can hang over separately, like if this was flat on the ground, on this ground, it would sit like that with this point and that point touching the ground. So 9 times out of 10 that's going to look 100% right, and you get the benefit of having convex mesh. You can actually have in Unity, I don't believe, non-convex meshes colliding with other non-convex meshes, so if these weren't convex, two roof bits wouldn't be able to collide with each other, which would look pretty bad. Well, one thing with that roof, did mess up, dead position. Alright, now where's these stone corner? Stone corner top, spec. Same with this one. And this guy. Okay. Might as well do these at the same time. Damaged, damaged, damaged. Can all take diff 2. Near death. Near death, near death. Diff 3. And healthy, healthy, healthy. That one. Can I apply changes to? No. Apply. 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 Alright. Stone corner number 1. Drop that into fortress. Whoop. Nope. Messed up 3A, didn't I? Forgot to put on the different texture for the top piece. Alright, and so those have all come up well, they're nice and flush, which is what we want for the corner bits. And then the roof. Okay, so let's grab, whoop, attempt to grab that, bring it over to there. Wicked. Right, so I want to grab my entire fortress. And just bring it over this way a bit. Cool. There's my chest. Let's make a little platform for the chest. Save that. Let's play this game. So it's a pretty boring looking level. However, it is pretty much a level. Nice. Let's take out that tower. Yeah. Man, that's a tough tower. Die, tower, die. You're not going to be able to shoot 2 bullets in the final game, but I feel like cheating, so it's all good. Cool. See if we can get a direct hit. Yeah. Nice. Okay. So starting to see some stuff coming together, getting some more artwork in. So one thing that's bothering now, I guess, bothering me is this aiming stuff. So let's go to the catapult, and basically I just want to get rid of that. I can probably delete it entirely at some point, but for now I think that'll do. So jump in now, those lines are gone. So what I need to do instead is make sure that's pre-filled. So where do I instantiate all that stuff? Just guess this dude will do it himself. Yep. Okay, so when we want to start the indicator spacing is at 0.1. That's already at the thing. Times indicator spawn. So okay, so we're going to set that in start. We'll set that to this. So it's not going to spawn one until that time is up. And we're going to pre-fill our line. Say num pieces equals show line for sex divided by indicator spacing. Int dot we'll just round it in for now. Okay, so by dividing show line for seconds, so say it's 10 seconds and I've got a spacing of 0.1. There's going to be 100 of those blocks in my trajectory line. So I'm going to loop through 100 times and create one. Let's make a method here for creating. Void create indicator graphic at weapon bond stage set trajectory, and I'm going to T-pause. Okay, at T-pause. Okay, what I want to do is I times indicator spacing. Okay, pre-filled it, but didn't pre-fill it out correctly. No, it didn't. Okay. So indicator spacing in the case of the catapult is 0.4. T-pause 0 moves at a speed, indicator speed. It's 0.1. Okay. So it's moving at 0.1, the spacing is 0.4. It's more about the speed, isn't it? So if it's 10 seconds, moves at 0.1, takes 100 seconds to progress from start to finish. And I'm spawning one every 0.4 seconds. So what does that look like? 0.1. And how long's my thing? 10 seconds, right? 0.1 times 0.4. 0.04. Oh. 0.04. 250. Didn't know if that looked like it needed 2.5. It's possible, I suppose. there's actually indicators. Say create graphic at. Let's see. It's creating a lot, I'm guessing. Ah, it didn't. Seal to int. Ah. Brackets around those for starters. I should also cache that variable. Yeah, okay, so that looks right. So let's grab that. Num graphics in line. Okay. Cool. I think it might be worth. Hey, might be worth staggering these. So that when I hit this area, I'm hitting. Let's see, show what I mean, I guess. Stagger them sort of like this, so that when you're hitting one, you're actually hitting multiple. Like if you just hit one line, and that's how bricks are in real life, I guess it's worth noting. So the problem is that then you end up with one sticking out, which cut into a tower, for example, which, well, let's have a look at the physics result of that situation. That is the physics result of that situation. Might need some half bricks. Speaking of half brick, they're good guys. Very successful on the iOS devices. I know a couple of guys who work there. Good blokes. Good blokes. So yeah, half bricks might work well, or some sort of way of handling this. Let's just put these to the side for a moment. I want to shoot at that again. And see sort of how it feels by comparison. Okay. God, I hate these controls right now. Alright, so it comes in, boom, yeah, that feels better, you know, it feels like a solid wall, and you're destroying, yeah, it looks right too, you know what I mean, like, it looks like what you'd expect when you hit a wall. It all crumbles in that sort of pattern. Yeah, that's going to work well. So half bricks probably be the guy. Probably going to just have a generic one to fill up a gap. Let's see what Shane thinks. Alright, last thing I want to do before stopping this video is I want to only show the trajectory line for the currently selected weapon. So I think I might let the trajectory indicators themselves handle that. So where is that stored? So to plug in this keyboard, it's died on me. So game manager. I had this working. This shortcut was working for me. Let me close this. What did I do? I deleted out all of that. Resync the project, and let me open it up from outside. Turn that up directly. If I go to the game manager, oh, what the? This worked for me yesterday when I was having a look. I thought I'd solved it somehow, but now it just it's gone back to not working. Alright, so the selected weapon is stored in level. Yep. In game manager. So what I'm going to do is when I instantiate the trajectory indicator, and I also read that someone said to do that and then that. No, does not work. Alright. So we have our this thing dot set weapon to weapon. Images got to attach a weapon, so okay. Quite simple. Weapon. Weapon. I'm going to have a set weapon method. And now we'll just do in update for now. That'll work. Actually, let's also have a think about. Yeah, let's store an array of renderers that are going to be on this object. Whoop. Is it not a singleton? It is. Strange. Select a weapon and showing okay, so basically if the weapon associated to this trajectory indicator is the selected weapon and it's not showing, then run through all the renderers and enable them, set showing to true. If it's not the weapon that's selected and it is showing, set showing to false and run through all the renderers and disable them. And it totally works, right? Trajectory indicator. Okay, so weapon set, selected weapon will be set, showing will be false, enables them all, showing it's true, won't run that again. When the weapon is not equal selected weapon, and showing is true, it just starts off as started as true. Okay. Fancy stuff. Boom. A big hit. I don't know, the physics is sort of kind of alright, I think. Yeah, it was sort of a bit wobbly then. Bam. Chest dies pretty easily, but that's cool for now. And I said that was the last thing, but now I think of it, one more thing wouldn't hurt, which is the length of this. So I talked about in the last video when I was building this, those projectile motion calculations on Wikipedia. So just give me a second here and I'll bring those back up. Okay, so we've got time to reach ground, maximum distance. Time to reach ground, I believe, is sort of what we want. So I'm thinking we'll have it go till it reaches back to itself, and then maybe a tiny little bit further, maybe an extra second on top of that, a second or two. So let's have a look at time to reach ground, getting that in. So that's it there. So let's have a look at doing that one. Okay, so let's have a look here again. It's 2 times the initial velocity sine, so that's what we already have in our code over gravity. So, right, so show what I mean by already have that. Yeah, here. So y velocity is that initial velocity times sine. So basically, it's 2 times that over gravity. So we'll just chuck it in here as, what do they call it? They call it time to reach ground. Time to reach ground. It's 2 times y velocity over the absolute physics.gravity.y. Okay. So what we're going to do is set in update. We'll do it when we don't actually store anything about it changing, do we? Where's that angle come from? Weapon.x axis angle. Okay, so in here. Alright, let's cache this. Float previous x-axis angle equals 0f. Now what we'll do is, if weapon.axis angle is, so basically if it's changed from the previously stored value, which we'll store down here, we can also store it in here. We want to set our show line for seconds to show line for seconds equals get time to reach ground plus 1. Now when I shorten up this time to reach ground, time to reach ground number, this dude's going to delete himself, right? So if he's already beyond, so if he's already beyond this number, which will be shortened up, he'll delete himself. So that's all well and good, but then if we lengthen the number, if we increase it, then we're going to be missing our indicators beyond that point. So to show what I mean, I can bring this back and see, we're deleting them, but as I increase it, you can see there it's actually ending. Oh, that's fine because it's 1 second. Hard to really see if it'll happen for us. One second might be too much, especially at this close range. Let's decrease it. Actually, let's put it to just time to reach ground. Let's see how that looks first. It doesn't look right. Does not look right. Time to reach ground being that height, which is not what we're interested in. And also, yeah, that's not right. See, that's looks right, but as we bring that in, it's less and less so. Time to reach ground to force weapon chip out range, blah blah. Weapon X angle axis times shot force, sign right angle, 2 times Y velocity. Right. It's alright. I think that's fine. I need to increase it by a bit, at least in the case of the catapult, because it starts so high. Yeah, I might just get it looking okay for the catapult, and then we can maybe figure out a better way for other weapons. Easiest game ever made. Alright, that's going to have to do it for this video, I think. Fair bit of progress, this one. Around the 2-hour mark now. I'm hoping to do a lot of these videos in this week. Really sort of push forward. I mean, I think coming to this one, I was around 14.5 hours. I think it's quite a lot of progress for that amount of time. I guess when you watch people do a game jam, and I've done some game jam sort of stuff before, sort of weekend trying to smash out of game stuff, you do get a lot of work done, and you can only, but you know, it's sort of that I can do it for this weekend and then I need a break sort of thing. So the benefit of doing this stuff now is that as I do these videos, I'm focused 100% on it, and it's sort of like a little mini game jam every time. You know, I'm just powering through. So far, I'm about 16.5 hours, and that's basically theoretically 2 average work days. This is a lot more than I'd get done in two work days. So it's actually quite an effective way of spending your time. If you record these videos, you get to track your time and you do it 100%. And yeah, I mean, this is actually really good progress for the amount of time spent. So yeah, I'm hoping to get at least another maybe 8 hours out this week, and I think it's going to end up getting to the point where I'm having to start maybe making levels, and I think maybe getting some character stuff in there. Shane's working on a dwarf model, the first pass on dwarf model at the moment, and I'll probably get that in and start looking at getting some of that stuff happening, and then we'll start looking at doing menus and level select screens and that sort of thing. And as the graphics come in and we sort of figure out all the gameplay properly, we can start putting together some real levels and putting this game together. So anyway, thanks for watching. That's about the 2-hour mark now, so stay tuned for episode 10, I guess. And yeah, please leave any feedback on the forums or the YouTube video comments. Thanks.